My name is Darryl Falzarano, and I'm a research scientist here at VIDO.
So my name is Trina Racine. I'm the Director of Vaccine Development here at VIDO.
My name is Akarin Asavajaru. I am research technician. I'm working at the VIDO,
the Vaccine and Infectious Disease Organization at the University of Saskatchewan.
So VIDO is a research organization. We do mainly vaccine development for both human and animal pathogens. So that means we try and develop vaccines that will protect both humans and animals.
I'm a research scientist. That means I run an independent research lab. My lab happens to work on coronaviruses. Prior to SARS-CoV-2, we worked on MERS coronavirus, a different but related beta coronavirus. For that, we were trying to develop animal models where we could develop a vaccine for camels to prevent transmission of MERS from camels to humans. And then when SARS-CoV-2 hit, our lab transitioned rapidly to isolate the virus from the first known case in Canada, and from there develop vaccines and animal models, and one vaccine that has actually made it into clinical trials.
So I'm Director of Vaccine Development here at VIDO, and so what that means is that I help take the discovery research that our scientists do, the vaccines that they develop for both humans and animals, and I help bring them towards commercialization. So I'll take a human vaccine and help bring it into clinical trials, human clinical trials, for our veterinary products, I help bring them towards licensure. So bridging that step between the academic discovery science towards a commercial product. And I'm also responsible for our new pilot scale GMP vaccine manufacturing facility called the Vaccine Development Center.
I am research technician who is responsible for laboratory experimental activities and also as well as recording procedure that we use in our experiment and also data generated. Normally that every day though, I start my day off by checking email. So in this way that I can reply to my teams and also my collaborators. And after that, so I go through in my checklist so to see that so my projects, if it have any projects that's on my top list of priority. And after that, mostly every morning, so I start working with my own project. And in the afternoon, just tend to be that I work for my colleagues' project. And I also work into different environment in the CL2, containment level 2, and also CL3.
Some lab work is still involved as a research scientist, although that's become less and less over the years. It becomes more of a management role and facilitating the work of others. So that involves spending actually a lot of time in your office, on your computer, writing grants, analyzing data, putting that together, collaborating with other investigators across the country and around the world, attending conferences, presenting your data there. There's really a diversity of activities that we have to do on a day-to-day basis.
My typical day involves a lot of meetings with our scientists, with the other members of our senior leadership team, discussing the different products, the vaccines that we're developing as part of the Vaccine Development Center, where we take on external clients who have products that they want us to manufacture for them, discussing who those clients might be and what those projects are to see if they're a good fit for our facility. And I knew right from high school that I wanted to go into science, and so I went to, my undergraduate degree focused on a BSc in science and did an honors project where I got a chance to work in a science lab, a virology lab in the summertime, and then throughout that academic year doing a small independent project where I had to write a little thesis afterwards, which kind of sets you up for what doing graduate work would be like. And from that work, I discovered a scientist that I wanted to work with for my PhD and was lucky enough to get a position in their lab, and then did my PhD project. And from there, I then went on to do what we call a postdoctoral degree or a postdoctoral position at a different lab in a level 4 facility where you get to wear the big fancy space suits and work with the most dangerous pathogens. And so from there, I then started doing also some clinical trial work, helping bring those products from the bench again into that next stage of development.
So my position that I have here today took quite a number of years of schooling. So I did an undergraduate degree in biology and then went on to do a master's degree in medical microbiology. I did a PhD in molecular virology. And so all of that is encompassing, 4 years of one, 2.5 years of the next, 5.5 years of a PhD program. Then going on to be a postdoc. for 4.5 years before starting what your parents would call your first real job. You could compress that down a little bit, but that's sort of the span of training that you would expect if you want to become a scientist in the biology field.
Normally, that to become like a research technician, you require at least an undergrad in biomedical science or other relevant science, or maybe that to be kind of bioscience technology diploma. But however, that to become like a good researcher, that at least that you might need kind of a graduate, like a Master of Science, because you have been trained to have scientific thinking and also know how to troubleshooting.
It's one of those careers where you don't know where you're going to end up necessarily, and things are always changing. So technologies are changing. What's happening in the world, of course, just completely illustrated by the pandemic. How everyone approaches infectious diseases is changing, and so you're always in a space that needs to be adaptable.
But we also need people who are very detail-oriented in, say, the manufacturing facility, because you have to be very precise about the work that you're doing, and you have to follow certain procedures to the letter. And so you have to be very specific about everything that you do and make sure that you follow the procedures. And so if that's how you like to work, then there's opportunities there. But if you're more of a free thinker who wants to tinker with things, then that's more that bench science and the traditional scientist view. So there's opportunities for everybody.
You're not looking at having a boring job if you're going to the field of science. It's you're always going to be presented with new challenges. So if that's something that's interesting to you, I think that's a reasonable career path to pursue or to investigate further.
Get as much education as you can, because we are now in a society in which that many career, many jobs require kind of additional education or training beyond a high school degree already. And especially some career also require kind of a graduate degree to start and work in the field.
So I think there's a lot of opportunities for Saskatchewan students. The University of Saskatchewan has an excellent science program, and so there's a lot of opportunity right here at home for developing that early taste for what a science career could be like. And there's a lot of great research centers on campus like VIDO where you can come and, like I say, do a co-op, do a summer internship, eventually do your graduate studies. We have a number of excellent scientists who are always looking for new students. So I think there's a lot of opportunities, and having the type of experiences that you can get here in Saskatchewan then sets you up for a great career if you choose to go elsewhere as well.